Neil, I wonder if you can tell us, how relevant is this commandment today? I mean, how many of us do want to worship gods or statues or images?
Yeah, look, well, like Chim was talking about, of course, there are many cultures in our world who actually want to have those things and actually use those. And some will actually say, well, look, we're not actually worshipping that. It's just an image representing our God or our what we're worshipping. But the problem with that is that it actually begins to focus, because our mind is so powerful, we actually start to limit what our God can do. And ultimately, you know, this really damages our relationship with God. And remember also that the command also has a positive flip side. And that is, far from us actually creating an image of God, he wants us to be his image in the world. And to actually be, to show his love, to show his grace in the world. And I think that's a far greater thing. So it's more a command about our state of being as well. That because in the beginning when God created, he said we're in his image. So we're to be his image in this world as well.
That's awesome. Sometimes idols do seem to have an evil look about them, but other idols, though, that seem kind of peaceful or even kind of just interesting. Do you think it would be all right to just have the nice-looking ones and just keep them? What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't think so, though. You know, there's no real place for that in our life and no real need for it either. There's an interesting story that comes from the book of Acts where Paul is there. One of the things that these little idols represent is an opportunity for business. And so, you know, people can lock into that. And in this interesting story, you know, there was a whole uproar in Ephesus. This is Acts 19 and from verse 23 onwards. And this whole uproar was about loss of income for the people who made the idols and the images of the great Diana and the gods Artemis and Diana and so on.
So it's just a business thing for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And for other people, is there any potential negative spiritual experience we could have from idols? Even the nice ones?
Yeah, look, there are. It would impact in people's lives and limiting their spiritual experience, really, because of what they're locking into. You know, in a sense, we become like what we watch. And in John 15, verses 1 to 4, Jesus actually says, in a really organic way, he wants us to have a relationship with him, a really rich one. And he said, unless we abide in him, we won't be able to produce any fruit. And that abiding is not through images and icons. It's actually through an organic relationship, allowing him into our heart. And that's really what he's after.
So it's more forcing us to connect with him in a daily experience rather than putting our focus on an actual object.
Mm-hmm.
So if we aren't to worship God through worshipping images, how do we worship God? Marie, just in a few moments, if you could tell us.
Well, we can worship God by singing and praising him, but the Bible goes deeper than that as well. And in fact, in Romans 12, 1 to 2, it talks about our lives are living sacrifices for God. And then also in 1 Corinthians 10:31, it says, whatever we do, do all to the glory of God. And by living godly lives, by being faithful to our partners, by loving other people, we're worshipping God.
So we can visualize and achieve all sorts of incredible things, but God says, don't visualize me. By following God and making him the most central point in our lives, we can live our lives to the full.